Andres. I'm from Chile. Thank you so much for taking your time to doing this interview.
Thank you for having me.
And think so. Yeah, we basically want to talk about this new record that is coming out in April, I think.
Yeah.
So I would like to know how would you describe this next LP for all the fans? How would, in your own words, how would you describe it?
Um, I feel like it's the start of our second act, It's like in Shikari 2.0. We just had a prolonged period where we didn't play any shows, obviously, because of the pandemic. And then I wasn't able to write any music for ages. I sort of lost the ability for a while. And we also brought out a biography.
Oh,
So it really felt like there was like this full stop,
yeah.
of everything we'd done, and that was like the end of that. And it was like, okay, there's this period of nothing and confusion and kind of
Mm,
worry. Um,
mm.
and then this album came, and it was just like this burst of excited energy. So that's what I feel like this album is. It's just like the rebirth, I think, of our
Mm.
band.
It was basically like all the energy you had like on hold, on wait. It
Mhm.
released like on 2 years on hold, and now you got it released on this new record, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It was
Mm,
all of those, emotions and experiences and
mm,
frustrations that I would normally write about, like for about a year and a half.
yeah.
I couldn't write about those things. So yeah, there was just like this, like volcano of
Yeah.
energy that exploded. And of course, like on top of that, there was a sense of relief that when I was able to write again, it was like,
Mm,
oh, okay, finally I can
I
still
got it.
create
Yeah.
music. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of gratitude and excitement on this album, I think.
that's great. I read over there that you recorded on in a farm, disconnected like from the world basically. You
Mm.
had like solar panels on. How was that? Did that affect on your creativity?
It was great. It was such a. I'm so glad that we did it like this. It's basically the most kind of wholesome album experience. We hired this farmhouse. It was very old, very dilapidated, and it was just the four of us in the band and our engineer George, and that was it. So
Well,
you go into a big studio and you have all these people who can like offer assistance and give you help. And this time, yeah, we had to build our own temporary studio in this farmhouse. And yeah, we only had solar power. So, we couldn't boil the kettle and record guitar at the same time because the
yeah.
power couldn't take it. So
Oh
it
wow.
made it, yeah, it made it like a really interesting experience. Yeah, we had to like chop wood for the wood burner to keep ourselves warm because there was no central heating. So yeah, it was just a really beautiful experience.
Yeah. How long did it took? Yeah. How long did you spend in that farm?
5 weeks we were
5 weeks.
there.
Wow.
So like all the songs were written, well, pretty much fully written. And then we took, yeah, those 5 weeks to record them and to finish off some of the
Yeah.
songs. But yeah.
Oh, cool. So yeah, I heard the 3 new songs you released, and I'm amazed by the electronic elements. So I'm interested to know what artists of electronic music do you take as an inspiration?
Oh, wow. Um, Goodness. So much stuff. I mean, in the early days, um, I only this comes to mind because quite a few people have said that the last single, Bloodshot, sounds like some of it sounds a bit like the Prodigy. And
Yeah.
they were the first like electronic, dance outfit that I was introduced to by my uncle when I was like 11 years old. I was just like, whoa,
Wow.
what is this? Yeah. Um, so yeah, it's from then onwards, I just became fascinated with dance music. I think a lot of drum and bass was kind of what I grew up on. And then living kind of just outside of London, we were able to watch dubstep grow from its very
Yeah.
early beginnings. but then like Rob has always been really Rob, our drummer, has always been interested in like house music as well, and like garage. So there's all these influences that we've had forever. But yeah, it's hard to. I don't think there are like specific influences,
uh,
but in terms of, I don't know, everyone from like well, Hospital Records, Vision
mhm.
Records, um, then I love like kind of
You know,
anything that's
Warp
sorry.
Records, Warp
Yeah, yeah,
Records, yeah.
yeah,
Do
of
they? Yeah,
course. Oh yeah.
those are cool. Yeah, I've heard. You know, it sounds like a bit familiar enough for I don't know what artist I could say, but it was like super crazy.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's so much, I think anything that's texturally interesting,
yeah.
is what, obviously rhythm is like the main thing almost in dance music, but I think
Mhm.
now like the production of dance music is just like so good, and there's so many different textures and things you can
Yeah,
evoke through the timbre of sounds really, which I just love.
yeah. And also, I saw the track list of the record, and it caught my attention the last two songs called Giant Pacific Octopus. Like it was like two songs with the same title, but
Mm.
like a continuation. So I don't know, it sounded so brutal and demolishing, and I want to know about what's that about? I don't know. It
Yeah,
caught me
yeah.
at my attention, so I'm really freaked out about that.
Well, yeah, it was just a lyric in the song, and I was like, I think that'll make a really good title. Um, so it's basically I used the lyrics are, I'm a chameleon. No, that's
Mm.
a bit pedestrian. I'm more like a giant Pacific octopus coming in for the kill. So
Wow.
basically, I started off by using the kind of tired metaphor of a chameleon, which is,
Mm.
obviously an animal that can change its color, can change its shape. And I think, we're all like that to a certain extent. We can all, often we don't really know who we are, and we change from situation to situation, or from year to year. We're always like evolving as human beings. So I think that the whole song really is about that, this sense of like
Mm.
who am I. I mean, it's literally called I Don't Know You Anymore, so it's like not really knowing who you are. But then the giant Pacific octopus I thought was a much cooler animal than a
Yeah.
chameleon. And lots of
Of
people have made
course.
songs and have lyrics about a chameleon, but I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's made a song about a giant Pacific octopus, which essentially does the same thing. It swims around, it,
Yeah.
it can change its color to
And
blend into
it
things.
sounds cooler, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so what do you think is the main message you give in the lyrics of this LP?
There isn't really like one main theme, there's, because I didn't write for like almost 2 years, there was so
Yeah.
much emotions trapped in me that I wanted to speak about, so many experiences I wanted to speak about. So there's a lot of different things. I mean, I think that theme that I just talked about of kind of self-discovery and not really knowing who you are, and the sense
Mm.
of that we're kind of liquid, we move and we change and we shape shift. I think that theme comes up a few times on the
Mm.
album. And then themes of like power and powerlessness. um I talk a lot about that in songs like Goldfish and Bloodshot.
Mm.
um and then things like joy. So A Kiss for the Whole World, the track is
Mm.
is is all about joy. um and how, it borrows from uh, the piece by Beethoven, Ode to Joy,
Mm.
which is where he uses lyrics from Friedrich Schiller's poem.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be interesting to make a song that references that and talks about joy in 2023, because I think joy now is kind of
Yeah.
different in that it's like quite fragile. It's quite hard to sustain a sense of joy, because we're constantly reminded about all of the awful things that are happening in the world. The
Mm.
crises that every week there's a new crisis. So it's like
Yeah.
it's very difficult to hold on to joy, even though I
mm,
think we should try to, because joy is a very motivating,
mm,
energizing force. Yeah, so there's all sorts of themes on the
yeah.
album.
And about this crisis you talk about recently, I don't know, there's, well, here in South America, there's a lot of social crisis and political crisis. So, what do you think about if music, do you think music has an important role in revolution, maybe in
Yes,
crisis?
I think you can say a lot with music, like even using very few words. You know, it's incredibly emotional, incredibly immediate um tool. It's like very affecting. You know, you play some music and you know it's gonna make people feel something. And that's kind of beautiful because it reminds us that we are all so similar. You know, someone plays a piece of music and it's going to make us feel sad. It's going to make this person feel sad. It's going to make you sad. It's going to make me sad.
Mm,
Or that someone plays some exciting music and it's going to make me feel energized and excited, and the same as everyone else. So like, it reminds us of our shared vulnerability, I think, which is a really important thing. It reminds us that we're the same essentially, and in a world that's becoming more and more divisive, I think that's really important. So at its very core, I think music is a unifying force. It's a really important tool. um and then I suppose more specifically as well, in terms of like revolution and activism and things, it's something that gives us fuel. You know,
mm,
if you listen to music, it can energize you, it can make you feel powerful. And that, you know, that's
yeah.
one of the as I just said, one of the themes on the album is about power, and how people of great wealth and great power want us to feel powerless. They
Yeah.
want us to feel powerless because when you feel powerless, you don't act, you
Mm,
don't fight, you don't want to change things, you just sort of cower, and you just, oh,
mm.
yes, 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 you know, like so it's, I think music can remind you that you are powerful, and it can bring us together. And you know, obviously there's a lot more power when we're unified. So yeah, I think it's a very, I think sometimes it can be over exaggerated, you know, you know, music
Yeah.
can change the world. Like, no, I don't think it can. I think it can be fuel. It can be fuel for
Yeah.
the fire, and it's a very important fuel.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have my last question here, and it's basically about the tour of this record. Do you think it will be possible you guys can come to South America, specifically Chile? Is in on your plans, maybe?
I mean, yeah, we've been trying to for a long time. I think this is going to be the first album where we actually do some kind of tour of South America. I'm not sure where exactly we're going to get to play yet, but
Yeah.
we're in discussions at the moment, and hopefully we're going to make it work finally. Because yeah, we've wanted to come for so long. It's
Yeah.
yeah, there's so many, you know, beautiful, interesting things to explore, and yeah, we'd love to.
Oh, that's good news. I mean, the crowd here in Chile is wild, so
Awesome.
I'm 100% sure they'll love it. They'll love your music, guys.
Cool. Hell yeah.
So, Room, thank you so much for your time in this beautiful interview. So,
My pleasure. Yeah, thanks for
hope
having
to
me.
see you one day in Chile playing.
Excellent. Hell yeah.
All right.
Take
See
care.
you. Take care. You
Cheers.
too.
Bye.
Cheers.